Sure.
Right here, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you, sir.
You come this way.
Good morning. If you would please introduce yourself and spell your name for us.
Yes, ma'am. Deputy Ranney, R-A-N-N-E-Y.
Do you have a first name?
Scott.
Judge, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to remove all objections as to this witness.
All right.
Evidence of this.
Thank you. Same rulings.
Deputy, how are you currently employed?
At the District 1 office as a patrol deputy.
All right. And you work for the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been working with Hillsborough County?
15 years.
All right. And what are your duties as a patrol deputy?
To answer calls when they come out, answer calls for service.
All right. And what was your position back on August the 29th of 2022?
I was an FTD,
And what does that mean?
a field training deputy that trains the new deputies as they come on.
All right. And who were you training at that time?
Deputy Rahman.
All right. And when you're training a deputy, do you work together with that deputy?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you all ride in the same car?
Yes, sir.
And you go to the same scenes together?
Yes, sir.
And if he has questions, does he ask you what to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how long had you been working with, who were you working with on that day? Who were you training?
Deputy Rahman.
All right. How long had you been training Deputy Roman?
There's different phases. We were in 4th phase at that point, which is a 2-week period, and we were on the 1st week.
Okay. And once he's done with that phase, does he go out on his own at that point?
Yes.
All right. So he was nearing the completion of his training at that
Yes.
point. All right. Deputy, what zone were you working back on August 29th of 2022?
Alpha 4.
And where is that zone, if you can explain to the jury where Alpha 4 is?
Alpha 4 is from Nebraska to Del Mabry and from Fowler up to Bears.
Okay. Does the Heritage Club apartments, did they fall within your zone?
No.
Okay. Why did you respond to the Heritage Club apartments on that night? Or did you respond to the Heritage Club?
Yes, we responded because we were closer to the district that time, which is closer to where those apartments are. And because I had a recruit, that is a very good call for a recruit to go to.
Okay. So you can respond to other zones if there's an emergency and you need to go there?
Yes.
All right. And it happened to be that you were kind of close to that area at that time?
Correct.
All right. Where is this area, Heritage Club apartments located?
It's off of 37th Street.
I'm gonna. If you show me one time, I'll remember from you. Push that in. Send it. I got you. Okay. I'm showing you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 26A for identification, and I'm going to ask you to take a look behind you at the overhead at the video. All right. Do you see in there where Heritage Club Drive is, the location where this incident occurred?
Yes.
If you could, please, could you stand up and point to it and kind of describe it so it can be on the record?
So right here in this area.
Which is basically kind of the middle of the screen?
Correct.
And is there, and what's next to it? Is there like an identification tag? Or
As in the
a
red
marker?
dot?
Yeah, red dot?
Yes.
Okay. And that's where the apartment was located that you went to on that day?
Correct.
And where is like Fletcher and Bruce B. Downs and USF and all that? Can you describe
Bruce B.
it?
Downs is over here, Fletcher is right along here, and this was at 37th Street I was talking about.
Okay. All right. And showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit number 26B that's previously been introduced into evidence. Is this the apartment complex we're talking about?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Back it up. All right. And can you tell kind of where you went on that particular day? Do I have it backwards, or how do I have it?
Can you spin it that way? Okay, yes, so this is again 37th Street right here.
Right.
And then when
On the left part of
Yes.
the,
on the left side right here.
thank you.
And then Fletcher would be down on the southern part and Bruce B. Downs would be over on this side. He goes up and around.
All right, and where did you go in and how did you enter into the scene?
We entered in on this right here, and then we went up, and into the actual apartment is up a little higher, up right here.
And you're pointing to the top part of the picture to the
Yeah.
building, like right in the middle of all those buildings.
Correct.
And that's the location of the apartment you all went to?
Yes,
on
sir.
On that particular evening?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You can go ahead and sit down. What did you believe you were responding to? What was the call about?
The call just went out as a shooting call, but it didn't give a lot of details. It didn't say, who was a victim or anything. It just said somebody was shot.
All right. Were you one of the first units to arrive on scene?
Yes, sir. There was approximately 4 of us that got there close to the same time.
Who were the other deputies who responded at the same time?
Deputy Jones, Deputy Rahman with me, and Deputy White.
Okay. Describe to the jury what you saw as you were driving up to the scene and as far as the outside of the apartment.
There wasn't a whole lot outside, just, a lot of cars because it's an apartment complex. When we were going towards the apartment, getting close to the door, there was a female outside, and then, we went past her and went on inside to the apartment.
Well, was the female saying anything? How was she behaving?
She was saying something. I wasn't close to her. There was another deputy, I believe it was Deputy Jones, was already talking to her when we got there, and we went around another way and went to the door.
All right. And did you in fact enter the scene?
Yes, sir.
What did you see when you went into the residence?
When I went in, you immediately went into like a kitchen area to the left. There was a TV on the left side and a couch on the right side, and there was a gentleman sitting there holding a juvenile in his arms.
All right. And what did you do at that point?
At that point, we went up to him to see what was going on, and you could see blood on the juvenile's head. So we were trying to figure out where the blood was coming on, figure out what was going on, and had my recruit go out and get a med bag and start, treating him.
Okay. And did you speak with this man?
Yes.
All right. And what did he tell you happened?
He told me that there was an accidental discharge and the gun went off and hit the child.
All right. Did you know about another child upstairs?
Not at that time, no.
Okay. When did you first hear about the other child upstairs?
When Deputy White came downstairs and said that there was another victim upstairs.
Had the defendant, Mr. Bass, ever said anything to you about this other victim upstairs?
No.
All right. Did you ever go upstairs?
At one point I did go upstairs. I got up to the top of the stairs. I was able to see that there was enough deputies up there treating the other child, so I went right back downstairs.
Were you wearing a body-worn camera on that day?
Yes.
All right. Explain to the jury what a body-worn camera is, how it works.
So a body-worn camera is the camera. For a normal call that you go to, you have to turn it on yourself, but anytime like we pull out our weapon, turn on your taser, turn your lights on your car, it automatically comes on, but we use it every single call we go to, we turn it on. And it records everything. It can see everything we see, it sees.
Are you in fact wearing a body-worn camera right now?
Yes.
Can you point it out and show it to the jury where it's located?
It's right here.
The record reflect he's standing up and identifying like a black box in the center of his chest.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's already been introduced as State's Exhibit number 2. Did you in fact review this?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And is this in fact a copy of the body-worn camera you were wearing on that day?
Yes.
All right. And does it fairly and accurately depict what you saw when you arrived on scene?
Yes.
All right, Judge, I'm going to publish it now. Computer. I'm back on the computer. Okay, got it.
Can you two go to help him? Yes, we're up here. Take him to the hospital. Call the
All right, paramedics are coming right now.
Oh, please, now.
What happened? What happened? What happened?
The gun discharge. Gun discharge.
Okay. Somebody got a med bag. Get a med bag.
Oh, God, no. Please, hurry.
They're coming. They're coming. 52 on EMS.
Hey, can you hear me? Please, hurry. They're here. They're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, they already cleared upstairs. We cleared it downstairs.
It's okay. It's okay. No, hey.
Not yet. Hang in there, buddy. Come on, hang in there. He said it was an accidental discharge.
Thank you.
46 station, number 1025, and the house is clear.
We got another just gonna be up there.
Okay. On. Out 47, be advised, there's another gunshot victim upstairs. It's a juvenile female. Yes, 10-4. How did the accidental discharge happen? What happened?
It was going, I was...
From you or somebody else?
I was trying to take out the magazine and it just went off.
Alright, we'll get it figured out. Just stay calm for now. What happened upstairs?
Nothing happened upstairs. You have those
Hey, we still have to get a sense of yours. Make sure you check that back out.
Got you. Is she breathing?
Where's the doctor now? Be honest. It's upstairs on the dresser.
On top of it, or in the dresser?
On top of the dresser. Where she'll be in the dresser, in that silver dresser. The middle of the master bedroom. Yes.
You gonna go check the one? Check it. Gotcha.
Okay. What's on upstairs?
Hey, what's upstairs?
It's worse upstairs.
Okay. Adult?
No, juvenile, female.
Okay. Take this one to the rescue. Two juvenile.
Stay right where you're at. Stand up for me real quick. I'm just gonna pat you down for weapons. Put your hands up on your head. Just put them on your head. On your head. There you go. Turn around for me. You got nothing on you right now.
He's got something on the side of the head.
Left side of his head. All right, have a seat. You're good.
Hey, guys, get up there. You're coming down now. When you have 4-year-old. Where at?
So you're saying that whatever happened to him, is that your son?
Both of those are my kids.
Both of those are your kids. So it accidentally discharged and hit your son. What happened to your daughter upstairs?
The same thing. They was both in the bed together.
They were both in the bed together?
Yes. I think our ranks, you know what?
You're saying both kids were in the bed together, and you were in their
I
room?
was in there. Correct.
People there.
Now 47, the father's saying that he shot both of them with one round accidentally, the gun went off. So nobody else was in this house, just you and them?
Me and my wife.
And your wife? Where was she at?
She was in her room.
She was in her room?
I went to the window.
You'll be ready.
Yeah.
Deputy, was Mr. Bass eventually taken into custody at that point?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you have any further involvement in this case?
No, sir.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Judge, I'll pass the witness.
All right.
Morning, Deputy Rainey, how are you?
Good, ma'am.
I only have a couple additional questions
Yes,
for you.
ma'am.
All right, so when you entered the home, you saw Mr. Bass sitting on the couch cradling his son, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you could see that his son, JJ, had been injured.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there was actual blood that was bleeding from JJ onto the father, Mr. Bass, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And throughout your contact with Mr. Bass, he was cooperative with you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And we heard on the body cam he was yelling such stuff as, "Just help my child." Do you remember hearing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At some point, you are talking to him, and he says something about the gun being on the dresser. But then later, do you recall he does in fact say on or in the silver dresser?
I remember him saying on the dresser. I think some other deputies were coming in and out and trying to say we still haven't found it yet, but I don't recall that part.
That's okay. So do you believe then that at some point that he says on, but then does say it's in the silver dresser?
It's a possibility, yes.
All right. Other deputies' body cams?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's you, Deputy White is there, Deputy Jones, and you are training Deputy Rahman, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And he also indicates that his wife was there as well. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Judge, may we approach the bench?
Yes.
Okay, Deputy Rainey, you may have a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Deputy Rainey. I don't have any other questions for you.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor, nothing else.
All right, I'm going to ask you to step down and remain outside for just a couple minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break.
All rise.
All right, have a seat. Do you want to bring him back in and go ahead and do those? All right, the record should reflect the jury is not present. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Just state your name again so we know who's testifying.
Deputy Scott Ranier.
Okay. Now, Deputy Rainey, when you arrived, your body cam started about 10:44. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you originally asked what happened, and Mr. Bass indicated the gun discharges, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Then, within the pretty much the same time limit at, let me step back, 5:37, you're stepping in and you asked, and he says gun discharges, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry about that. About 6:15 on the audio, a deputy is heard saying, "We got another one up here." Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it sounds like it's pretty quickly on that you and other deputies determined that there is another victim upstairs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, at some point, I see you, I believe you to be walking outside, and you must be talking to like other deputies on your radio?
To dispatch.
Dispatch?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Is that like a separate from your body cam, or how do you do that?
That's connected to your radio, yes. So dispatch calls through, but the camera can hear and still everything that's being said, yes.
Okay. Now, at this point, before you do that, Mr. Bass has only made the statement that the gun discharged, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, in fact, when you step outside, correct me if I'm wrong, I hear you say, the house is clear, and then you say, somebody says something, and then you're saying, yeah, we know about the second victim. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. At that point, at some point, when have you might be doing other stuff, you walk back in, and that's where you get more specific with Mr. Bass concerning, tell me more about this, who did it, how did it happen, where were you, where are the kids? Fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you testified in a deposition, Mr. Thierry and I were present, and we asked you some questions, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had an opportunity to review that before you testified today?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. You decided that at a certain point, Miranda needed to be read, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The jury's not here. We can talk about that. And you had, I believe, Deputy Rahman do that since he's in training.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I had asked you in deposition what made you decide that point, And do you remember telling me, and is it your testimony today, that you were getting information that the house was clear and that you had determined or y'all knew there was a second victim? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once you knew that, you knew the house was clear, and you knew that there was a second victim, that's afterwards when you walk back in and you have conversation more specifically with Mr. Bass for a little bit of time, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then at a later time, Deputy Rahman reads Miranda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, when you had stepped out, you knew the house was clear, and you had said, we could hear it, the house is clear, house is fine, there's a second victim upstairs. Is it not true that Mr. Bass was not free to leave at that point?
You could look at it that way, yes.
And in fact, do you remember testifying in deposition to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You remember being at the motion to suppress, where we all kind of agreed to the judge who had your deposition that you said when you had those 2 factors, you had not read Miranda and Mr. Bass was not free to leave, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're admitting you're asking him questions.
I don't remember asking any questions after he was read Miranda.
Yeah, no, sir. I'm talking about before. Sorry about that. You're asking him specific questions.
At that point, I didn't tell him he wasn't free to leave yet, no.
No, I understand. What I'm saying is, after you get the information that the house is clear and you get the information there's a second victim, you go back inside, you're asking him additional questions, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The questions as we've discussed, and it's at that point he said he basically did it, he was cleaning the gun, etc.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. We're talking a little bit earlier. All right. May I have just a moment? Thank you so much, Deputy.
Did you want anything on the record from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can step down, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he released from his subpoena now?
He is not judging.
All right, you're to remain
free
on
to leave.
standby, but you can
Yes.
leave the courthouse.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, we'll be in recess.
Court's in recess.